Hello, everyone. Welcome to the High Post Podcast, Episode 5. Thank you for joining us. We are two brown dudes that talk sports. I'm Sahil.
My name is Arman.
We have a lot to get into today. We'll even have a special Sacramento Kings segment with our analyst joining us later on. So, our first ever guest on the show will come. Don't worry, guys, he will. All right. So, first thing I want to talk to you about is the whole Zion injury. I'm sure everyone's heard it. No one's living under a rock. So, what are your whole thoughts about his injury or whether or not he think he should sit out, continue playing, suck it up, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, no, so that's something big. Brought made headlines. I just remember watching the game and seeing it come in 30 seconds in. First of all, my condolences to all those that spent Super Bowl ticket price money on those tickets to see Zion, only to see him bust out his shoe, which was a spectacle in its own to see a man just pivot and bust out his shoe. But yeah, it's controversial to some extent to where you obviously have them. They ask players and they're saying, "Oh, he should wait it out. Don't come back." Certain people are saying he has a obligation to the college and come back as soon as he can. As far as I go and what I believe, I think Zion should assess the injury if he feels like uh, it's something that can affect his stock. Then I think he should sit out. It's up to him though. But if I was Zion, I would probably sit out just because you want to be healthy when the NBA season starts. You want to get drafted number one overall. Contract, you get the money. You don't want to injure yourself again or any risk or show that it has caused you or has that injury has made you a dip in your play. So you don't want to fall in the draft stock either. I think Zion should sit out and I mean just just get healthy in my opinion. How about you?
No, yeah, I think the same. I think it's the player's choice, and they should have the freedom ultimately to what to do with their body, right? Because we can't really dictate whether or not they want to play. Because like I said, it's not a pay that they're getting paid to play in college, which is a whole nother debate. But
As far as we know, I'm just
as
saying.
far as we know,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure Zion's got some money to go to Duke, but yeah, there's no salary. I doubt he's being compensated as like the NBA would as a job. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, but I think that Zion, he should be able to choose what he wants to do. I think he should sit out just because you want to get healthy for the real job that you have coming in a couple months in this draft and so on. Because if you're gonna be a Nick or whatnot, I mean, you might have some free agents joining you on the way, so it might be a lot of hype coming into that season or wherever he ends up. So I mean, yeah, a lot of people have said, guys like Giannis, I think have said oh, Giannis should play, it's his passion. And although I do agree with that, because also you want to sell tickets too. The Duke wants to sell tickets because nobody's trying to watch Trey Jones play. They want to come see Zion play.
I
So I
know.
think,
Yeah, that's right. It's a crazy thing. So Duke still has two other top tier guys on the team in RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish. However, when you hear Zion is out, it just doesn't have the same effect to the Duke name. And Duke knows it as well, but it's like that entertainment value is just not there as much. The games still are, they're still exciting. I mean, RJ Barrett has been holding his own, although they've been dipping and haven't been winning ever since his Zion injury. But yeah, no, but it's, yeah, like at the end of the day, it comes up to Zion. I'm pretty sure the other players in Duke as well respect whatever Zion's opinion is or whatever decision he makes, whether that's to come back or not. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're all one and done guys. They're all in it just to get to the NBA and get the money, right? So
yeah, yeah,
they
for
should do
sure.
whatever steps they can to make that goal achievable.
Yeah, like you said, they got to do what's best for their future career. They're not looking ahead just for this college season because, in my opinion, I don't really think Duke is gonna win even with Zion. So, I mean, what's the point, right? If he's playing. But yeah, going back to his hype and everything, I think he might be the most hyped prospect since LeBron, and definitely in this whole social media age now, he's definitely the most hyped up athlete I've ever seen coming into a pro league,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
ever
ridiculous.
since his sophomore year at Spartan-Dayburg School, whatever, I think that his high school. I mean, you saw his highlights dunking left and right. He made a name for himself. Supposedly, Drake was in contact with him around his junior senior year. So
That's
Zion's been a
crazy.
big name, I mean, it shows even when he played in Duke up to this point. If he doesn't even lace up again or put on another Duke jersey, he was still one of the most polarizing Duke players ever, even only in 1 year. Just the
Dude,
name and everything, it's insane. But Zion looks like he's the real deal. He's the hype. Hopefully, that injury didn't do anything to him, which I don't think it did, but I hope to see him in the NBA and just dominate.
Dude, to me that's crazy though. Like imagine you're like 16, 17, right? And you know Drake and other celebrities or whatnot. They come into your games. That's just insane to me. And also like it's not like a small list either this year. Like he's had guys like Barack Obama's came to his games, LeBron James has come to his games, Jay-Z. It's crazy. All these guys are coming to see Zion play. It's
Oh yeah, it's
ridiculous.
it's only a matter of time before we start hearing rap songs and pop songs with Zion in it, and it's like "Dunk Like Zion" or things like that. Zion's gonna be, hopefully, as long as he's healthy and he plays well in the NBA, he'll be one of the best or one of the most popular players. Just coming into the league, I can see it.
No, definitely. I think he has a lot of popularity. I love the guy. Like just watching his high school highlights and everything. Like in my opinion, I was back then I was always on that Michael Porter Jr. train. Like I was saying Michael Porter Jr. is the best I've seen. But no, I think Zion Williamson, the way he's playing and his whole all around build, his body and everything, I just think he's so dominant. And he's gonna be such a force in this league that people are gonna be scared of coming
Def,
next year.
definitely.
All right, so also now now we transition to the NBA, the real basketball league, and we'll talk about the MVP race. So as we said before, I think it was our second episode. We both had Harden winning MVP. So has anything changed for you? Or
For me, yeah, for me it has changed.
oh,
I have Giannis Antetokounmpo as my front runner for the MVP. Just the way he's been dominating, the way they've been winning games, sitting atop the Eastern Conference still. I think they have the best record in the NBA as well right now.
yeah,
Yeah, they do by looks like 5 wins over the Denver Nuggets. But yeah, they're up there. Giannis is doing his thing when it comes to points. He's scoring them, rebounding. He's doing it. He's passing the ball. He's playing defense. He's dominating. Shaq even said he's giving up his, or he would be willing to give up that Superman title to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He wouldn't do it for
no,
anybody else. Damn well wouldn't have done it for Dwight Howard, even though Dwight was doing his thing. You know that. But
yeah.
yeah, no, I think Giannis, and no knock on James Harden and his incredible stretch of scoring that he's been doing on, although it has ended. But it's just that I feel like Giannis is doing a lot more than Harden is when it comes to not only the offensive end, but he's also playing better defense. That's just my pick. As of right now, there's still 20 something odd games left in the season. Things can still change, but I think it's neck and neck between those two. I give the edge over to Giannis. Paul George is making noise, coming into the top three in my opinion of as far as the race goes, but I'm giving it to Giannis right now.
You make some good points. It's gonna be tough for me to go against that, but I actually still stick with James Harden just because who has scored like 30 points in 30, what is it, 33, 34 straight games? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I
Like
think he's second behind Wilt, or if he hasn't already eclipsed Wilt, he might have. It's something insane. 31 games straight.
something like that. It's like your
Yeah,
name is being mentioned in Wilt Chamberlain. Think about it. Back then, the dude was playing like obviously what he was doing, right? And you're being mentioned now in the modern era. You're doing what you're doing. To me, that's ridiculous. Putting up, averaging 40 in that stretch, averaging 40 for like a month, 2 months. And that's not a small sample size. And I think like with the way Houston's season has gone and the way he's even guided them to the sixth or fifth seed or whatever they are, I think it's just ridiculous. And he should get MVP because Chris Paul was out. Clint Capella was out for a while. So I just think what he's doing right now is crazy. Even though, I mean, he's shooting a gajillion free throws, and people are going to say, oh, he's just shooting free throws like we talked about before. But I'll still stick with James Harden. Even though Giannis is killing it, he's probably a top three, top four player in the game now, Giannis. But I'll still stick with the bearded one.
yeah, no, that 100%. I agree with you there on that argument that you made. But then one thing that we have seen in NBA history's past is they have like a hard on for those best team, best player.
Yeah.
They always do. And in this case, it's not like, although like we can say back in the day, you had guys like Nash and those guys that won MVP on the best team. But then Giannis is just such a force offensively and defensively. He's so impactful on the game. He's so dominant. With him being number one as of right now in the NBA as far as team record goes, I just don't see the NBA passing up uh, giving him the award. I mean, obviously, there has been exceptions like when Westbrook was got it, or when Harden got it this past year. I know. I think Harden they did have he had one of the top records in the NBA when Harden received the MVP.
Yeah, they were like the best. Yeah.
Yeah, they had the best record. But yeah, this is my opinion of why. Like last year, I was saying LeBron might should have gotten MVP. Although you can make a case he should have got it for like the last 7 years in a row.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I just think the NBA has that effect or that likeness to the top seed and the best player. And in this case, when it's Giannis on a team that didn't think that they would be the number one team in
No,
the East, in my
definitely.
opinion,
Yeah.
and let alone being the number one record in the NBA to this point by a few games, did not expect that either. They're top five, I believe, on the offensive end as a unit, top five on the defensive end as a unit as well, maybe if not top five, at least top 10. And it's all thanks to Giannis Antetokounmpo and his impact on the game, which is why I would give it to him.
And also, like with Giannis too, like you can also make the point like who's he really playing with, right? Like that also strengthens his case. Like I mean, Chris Middleton's a great player, but I mean, who's the guy playing with? And the way he's playing with them, excelling them to the top. That's just you can make that point with Giannis though. Like definitely, he could be a top. He should be an MVP. He is a candidate, but you can make the case that he's MVP over Harden because Harden, all those when those guys are healthy, he has guys like Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, Clint Capella when they're all healthy. And Giannis doesn't have that, I think. Houston has a better team when healthy, but what Giannis is doing, you can make a case for him. Any other names in the MVP race you think that we should talk about?
Yeah, so like I was mentioning, Paul George, uh, playing amazing offensively, playing amazing defensively. He should be, in my opinion, a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure we talked about it before, but I would say Paul George in the mix. Any other players? I mean, I just think you could always say certain guys like, oh, your players from the Golden State, Durant, Curry, those guys. You can mention them. Westbrook's averaging a triple double. You can mention them, but I think the only race is between the three in Giannis, Harden, and Paul George. Now, anything can happen in this 20-game stretch, and someone starts going off for 40 a game out of nowhere until the end of the season. But as far as things go and looks like the way it's going, I would have to say Paul George is in that mix.
Yeah, Paul George had a stretch, I think, before the All-Star break too. He had like 30 in like 8, 9 straight games. Like he's been balling this year. Like he's sort of taking that role in OKC as the leader of the team. Westbrook sort of passed him the torch, right? For that. That's another thing why I think that he should be in it because he's doing it on both ends better than anybody. He's playing defense, guarding your best player, putting up 28, 29 a game. It's just ridiculous. I think he should be the defensive player of the year though. Maybe not the MVP, but the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, no, he should. Yeah, but then that would make him into the MVP race. Yeah, defensive player of the year. I would like to say it'd be George, but I mean, it's such a weird way that they announce or that they choose whoever it is for defensive player of the year. They usually go like we were mentioning before. We were talking back in the day about they like people who block shots and things like that. But yeah, no. I think Paul George could be a defensive player of the year, but then definitely an MVP. Do you see anybody else in the race for MVP?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you that. In my opinion, this name's not being mentioned. I bring it up, Nikola Jokic.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think just because, like, again, going back to that point, he's the second seed in the West, close to being number one now. And who's he really playing with again? Like, Nikola Jokic has literally nobody on his team, yet people still don't consider him a superstar, which is to me is baffling because dude's averaging like 25, 10, and 8, which is ridiculous. He's almost averaging a triple double as a center. I don't think people are taking that into account. And he's so efficient in all his offensive skill sets. He's such a good rebounder, such a good passer. He shoots efficiently from the field, everything. I just think he should be up there.
Yeah, no, you're definitely. I can't believe even I didn't think of that. To be honest, they are also sitting atop of the Western Conference, uh, which is yeah. So definitely Jokic should be mentioned in the list. It's just that you don't hear it from the media as well about Jokic as much. They obviously give him his props as a great player in the league, but they don't throw him in that MVP mix, which is yeah. No, that's a really good point actually. To be honest, Nikola Jokic should be in the race for the MVP.
Yeah, and also like before he got injured, I think LeBron was making a case for it. But I think that injury and just sort of like now, I don't think he really has it because he hasn't played enough games. But he was making a case before. So to wrap it up, we'll go with our MVP picks. I believe you had Giannis, and I had
Yep.
Harden. Still have Harden. Sticking strong with the bearded one.
Yeah, you got the beard, I got the Greek freak.
All right, now for the depressing topic of the day, the Lakers.
Oh man, it's just going back. I mean, I did not think at this point, like preseason or even when the season started, I did not believe that coming to this day, the Lakers would be at this position where they're sitting
Exactly.
at, I believe, the 11th seed, or the 10th seed right now. It's just not. It's not fun, obviously, watching it as a Laker fan, seeing them losing games that they should win. Obviously, they have that, oh, we don't have Lonzo Ball, but you can't use that excuse at every
No,
game, especially
no.
games you should have won. Luke Walton, for those, I'm pretty sure y'all know we are Laker fans. Uh, I was more towards of defending him more often than not. Even I can't defend Luke's actions at this point.
Yeah.
The rotations are weird. They're odd. The playing time, the sets. It's a mess. They're finding a way to do something. I still believe the Lakers can make the playoffs, although everyone is actually counting us out, to be honest. But the only thing you can come as a Laker fan, as a bright side to all this is going on, is the growth of Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
He's coming into form now of that second pick. Obviously, they said that, oh, he's the next Durant. He doesn't look like a Durant when he plays. He still finds a way to score. He attacks the basket. He's using his length. He's not the shooter yet. Although that has increased as like the Durant was, but I think he's his own guy. His whenever he attacks the basket, it's just a beauty as of right now with his hot stretch that he's beyond. I think he's averaging like 24, 25 points a game for the last 7 or 8 games, which have been an important 7, 8 games because we're trying to make the playoff with that playoff push. But other than that, I mean, it's just depressing to be a Laker fan at this point.
Yeah, I've been on that fire Luke Walton train. Thank you for joining it finally. I
Yeah.
mean, dude, this is what he's doing. Like, see, yesterday, like he started Rondo, and he had that really small lineup going up against Randall and Davis. Obviously, they were getting decimated, but they're lucky Anthony Davis didn't play the whole game because otherwise, I don't know if they would have won.
Oh, yeah. Davis had, I believe, 21 or 25 points in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
If he didn't have an issue with the Pelicans or whatever, yeah, if he played the fourth quarter, I mean, the Lakers would have been in some trouble for sure.
yeah,
They
dude.
were already.
Yeah, that's why I'm so baffled at what he's doing. I think he should stick to that lineup what he was doing before with Reggie Bullock, LeBron, Kuzma, Ingram, and McGee. Because yeah, McGee hasn't been playing good, but I think he should stick to the normal big in the lineup just because it'll help against going up against teams now you're gonna have to play coming up. But another thing I want to get to with the Lakers is that I feel like people have been counting out LeBron also, like saying like LeBron's old, LeBron's finished, which I mean that is crazy talk. Because if you count LeBron James out as we've seen before, I mean good things tend to happen for the teams that he's on. So that's another thing I think why they
Yeah,
can make it.
I think the only thing from what I've seen is obviously I don't believe LeBron is finished. There are points in games where the body language just shows that the team is just upset, and so I mean obviously LeBron shows physical frustration as well sometimes when a layup is given and he's just upset. But I just think in no way do I believe that he's or anyone's given up. Even though I believe
No,
they've
they
asked
haven't.
LeBron his recent comments were something along the lines of, if you're feeling, if you're affected by what's going on, then maybe this isn't the organization for you. I
Yeah.
don't know if that was a shot at anybody on the team. As far as I know, it wasn't.
Hmm.
But he's being uplifting as he can. It showed yesterday. The defense. I mean, he was doing it all last night or the last game against the Pelicans. So, I no way is he done or anything like that.
Yeah, also I don't think like I think LeBron, you know what he does? I think he plays in spurts. Takes some plays out just to save some energy for what he's gonna have to do later. That's what I've been seeing last couple of years from LeBron, because I think he knows like to win the games he's gonna have to be the late in games like he was yesterday, like he was guarding Drew Holiday at the end, doing it on offense, hitting those one-legged fadeaways. I mean, I think he's gonna have to do that to get this team in the playoffs. Honestly, with the way Kuzma and Ingram are playing, has been very encouraging as well. Like those guys have not been affected by trade rumors because they've actually been playing better since the trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
And guys like Brandon Ingram, I mean, I think I've always said that Brandon Ingram is not gonna be up to what people are saying, but man, He's making me eat crow right now. He's looking pretty good, but I don't know if they can keep that up for the whole year. Kuzma and Ingram. Like that's what I'm worried about, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're young guys. They're obviously learning as they go. I mean, it's great to have a guy like LeBron on your side as well. LeBron's
Yeah.
been, and I've seen it in games as well, to where LeBron's been telling Ingram, "All right, go ahead. This is your possession. Take up the ball. Go attack the rim." So he's giving them the positive reinforcement that is trying to accelerate their growth. And being in these situations where you are expected to be a playoff team and you're not. So each game is important. Obviously, as well, accelerates one player's growth as well. So they got to be better. They got to be better as soon as they can. They got to play their best at all times, and you're seeing it. So I mean, I think Brandon Ingram's proven a lot to not only the Laker fans and the Laker organization that has a potential to be one of the top players, or potential to be a great player in the league. But I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, the Lakers make the playoffs. But as far as the Laker goes, I mean, I think regardless of them making the playoffs or not, no matter what Ingram or these guys young do, I still think they won't hesitate to make a deal with the Pelicans if
Oh,
they can get Anthony
definitely.
Davis. It's unfortunate that it is that way, but I mean, like at the end of the day, the goal is to win championships, and you got to maximize the opportunity that you have with LeBron for the next few years. And the best way to do that is um, to obviously get these star players.
Yeah, like in my opinion, I like these young guys and everything they're doing, but you can't win in the NBA with like young guys, dude. You need superstars to win championships. And like after watching Anthony Davis yesterday, who wouldn't want that guy on your team? Like it's crazy to me. But here's another thing with the Lakers though that I think many people haven't been talking about, or actually have been talking about, but haven't criticized these guys as much. What do you think about the whole Magic and Rob and what they've been doing with the franchise, sort of, with the moves they're making? Because they're kind of head scratching at times.
Yeah, Majinka, which is the term that Laker fans normally use for Magic and Rob Pelinka, Majinka. But I mean, I think their job to assemble the roster was pretty well. I mean, obviously, the biggest impact that it was the failed Davis trade.
Oh yeah,
Before that, like we were talking about before, when we were healthy, we were doing well. We were top four team in the West. I think we were at the fourth seed at one point.
yeah,
Uh, but just that failed botched trade. I mean, they did whatever they could in their power to try and get Anthony Davis, and
they
it
did
didn't work.
everything.
They
Yeah,
did everything. So that was a risk that they were willing to take. Because I mean, obviously, as a GM, and Rob knows he was a former player's agent, so he knows, and Magic knows he was a former player. That whenever your name is in the trade talks, the players don't feel well. Whenever there's a trade attempt, you know that the organization is basically saying, as much as we like you, this guy's better, and we would like to part ways. So when things like that happen and they fail, and now you're stuck with supposedly a team that doesn't want you, it's tough. So I mean, I applaud Majinka's aggressiveness to get Anthony Davis and all that, but I mean, think the chips just didn't fall their way. So I mean, I can't really blame them for the struggles that are here now. Uh, as far as I know, I mean, they should have done their best to talk to the team, let them know everything, and try to get the chemistry back to normal.
yeah. I mean, just like they did go all off Anthony Davis. I mean, they just offered the whole city of Los Angeles in the trade offer. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I mean, they're just playing with some petty GM, right? Dell Demps, but we won't even talk about Dell Demps. He doesn't deserve it. But I mean, the moves they made have been kind of head scratching to me. Like you getting rid of Zubac, right? The Reggie Bullock trade was good. Let me say that was a
Oh yeah.
great move they
Sorry.
made.
Yeah.
That was a great move because I think he's going to really help the Lakers in their playoff push
And
with
he
some
has
extra
been.
shooting.
And he has been. He's
Yeah.
been shooting well. He's one of our best. I think he helps us on the free throws, which is a big thing.
Oh yeah. We take all the help we can get on that. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
he's a good 3-and-D player, and obviously getting rid of Zubac, though. Oh man, I think a lot of Laker fans were kind of heartfelt, but then we were too, right? But like,
Oh, definitely.
it was a bad move. But I think Zubac could have been really useful right now with the way McGee and Chandler have been playing. Dude,
Oh yeah,
they
and
could definitely use
just
Zubac.
as a bench unit, we could use some help scoring the ball. It doesn't help when the bench is giving you some nights 7, some nights 20. It's so inconsistent the way that they've been playing.
Yeah. So speaking on the playoff race, Now we'll bring in our special Kings analyst, Tanvir, to talk about Sacramento Kings. And yeah, most podcasts don't do this, guys, but here we are. We're going to do it. So, Tanvir, what are your thoughts about the Kings?
Yeah, man. Sacramento, man, stand up, bro.
Definitely, you
What
guys
can
are
I say?
you're proving all of us wrong this year. Like I had this team going at like 12th or 11th in the West, and you guys look like you guys might make the playoffs.
Yeah, man. You don't know how crazy this is, man. Vegas even had us not even making the playoffs either, man.
Definitely, and like so, like there's like 20 some odd games remaining, right?
Yeah.
Schedule right now gets a little bit easier after this Clippers game. I think you guys have, right?
Yeah. We have like the third easiest schedule in the league right now.
Okay, so do you think? Obviously, I know what you're gonna say, but do you think the
Yeah.
Kings will make the playoffs?
Definitely, man. You gotta put it up there, man. Sacramento deserves to make the playoffs, even though even if they get the 8th seed, they might get swept. It's still a good feeling.
No, I mean you guys have a good team. Like I like the way Fox has been playing. I like the way Hield's been playing, and I like Marvin Bagley what he's been doing. But
Yeah.
do you think like the pressure of playing in these type of games, like these big playoff type games, because you're gonna have to play like these big games to get in, right? Play against teams like us, the Clippers, or whatnot. So do you think that pressure can get to these guys, or do you think they'll be unfazed by it?
No, I think there's gonna be pressure because all these guys are really young. I believe I know they could do it, but the young guys, they want to win and all that, but you don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, I think you guys have already accomplished a lot this year. There's already good signs going on in Sacramento, so just let us get in the playoffs. I mean,
No. We can't do that, man. You
yeah.
know what it is, man.
I mean, the Kings. I think Buddy Hield said right, like he bet his whole house that the Kings are gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah. That was kind of funny, man. I was laughing when he said that. I like him though.
No,
I love
definitely.
him.
And you guys have made moves too, like getting Harrison Barnes. I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely all in. They're pushing all the chips to the table to make the playoffs.
Yeah, man. When I heard about that Harrison Barnes trade, man, I was like, they trade him mid-game, man.
Oh
Dallas.
yeah, it was
That
mid game.
that was mid-game, man. I was surprised. I was like, okay, there's that small forward that we could actually use in our rotation.
Yeah, and also like, do you think that the Sacramento's young core of these guys of Fox, Hield, Bagley, right? Do you think the one of the best young cores in the league? I mean, I know what you're gonna say, but just
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, these guys, they're going to be special, man. They're going to be future All-Stars also. You could book that.
So if the Kings don't make the playoffs, I wanted to ask you, who's a
Okay.
team that you don't want to see make it?
Well, uh, put me on the spot, man. Okay. That's the big one. All right. Let's see. The team who I do not want to make the playoffs.
The Lakers.
No. I'm not gonna say that, man. I gotta put maybe San Antonio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or Utah.
I think Utah's already pretty much good. I think San Antonio has a chance of falling out, though.
Yeah. I know Greg Popovich, man. He's the GOAT, man. I'm not gonna lie. They
Yeah,
might, but you never know.
yeah, they've made like 20 straight playoffs. I think the time has sort of come. Like, okay, that's enough playoffs.
Yeah. Totally.
So, last question about the Kings. So, I want to ask you:
Go ahead.
do you think Sacramento will get like make an aggressive push for say I don't know how much money you guys have in cap or whatnot, but do you think like Sacramento Kings are becoming sort of like a good destination for free agents to come to?
I mean, I believe Sacramento. I know players don't want to come, but I believe players want to come here. Sacramento has a nice new arena, which I haven't yet to be in that arena for myself. yeah,
Yeah, definitely. We need to go check out a game, man, or something like that. That arena is
yeah.
beautiful. Like just the way that this whole team has been renovated. Like it's
Yeah.
just crazy to me. Like the Kings are back on the map, man. That's crazy.
Yep.
All
One
right,
day,
and
oh,
oh, go ahead.
oh,
What were you saying?
I said one day, it's gonna happen, man. Western Conference Finals, Lakers, Kings, man.
Ooh, I mean, yeah,
I
you guys will
believe,
get your chance.
yeah, it's gonna happen pretty in the future.
I mean, you guys were Tim Donaghy away from going to the finals. So
Yeah.
if he wasn't reffing, I mean, you guys might have been in the finals.
Yep. It's all
And
good though.
Yeah.
Gotta move
Kings, you guys are looking good, but I'm sorry to say this, you guys will not make the playoffs.
on. Okay, whatever.
We got the real king, you know. We got the real king, so I think. So I think
That's a joke. Yeah. Okay.
And that does it for us, guys. Thank you for joining us for High Post Podcast Episode 5. Be sure to share with your family and friends and other basketball enthusiasts in your life if you guys enjoyed the episode. And we are out.